Mr. Stevens, what do you think of that picture? Does that look like the man?
Well, excuse me, from the glimpse that I got of his profile, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, sir. It certainly doesn't. For one thing, he's too heavy. His face is too full. He has too much hair. And his nose is too wide.
So, Stevens was drunk that afternoon and failed to identify a picture of Ray. Yet he was regarded as such an important witness that he was kept in protective custody for weeks before the trial. After Ray's conviction, Stevens claimed the $185,000 in reward money. His claim was rejected.
There's a white woman named Grace Stevens that the man that ran past her, she looked at in the face. Now, we got to go to England because England had tough laws. And when James Earl Ray was arrested in England by Scotland Yard, he was arrested not for the assassination of Dr. King, but for jailbreak. Now, the United States government have to present a case to England to get him expedited back here, and they had to find a witness. They went to Grace Stevens and showed her the picture. She said, that's not the man. They told her about the reward money. She said, that's not. They put this woman in a mental hospital. She stayed in a mental hospital for 11 years, and once they put her in the mental hospital, they got her husband to say that was him. That's the only way they got him over here.
There was a $50,000 reward for identification of anyone who would lead to the conviction for the murder, and Charlie Stevens was aware of that, and he was obviously angling for it, and. Yes, he was their lead witness, but they didn't even call him at the guilty plea hearing. They never even put him on the stand at the guilty plea hearing, and yet he was the main reason that James Earl Ray was extradited from England. It was on the basis of his affidavit. It was outrageous.
The strongest evidence of an FBI and CIA involvement with the assassination begins with a trail that starts here in Toronto with the aliases or alternative identities used by James Earl Ray. In 1967, 2 months after escaping from prison, Ray began using different identities at every opportunity. 4 names recur. All 4 are real, perfectly innocent people living within a 1.5-mile radius of each other in a Toronto suburb. All 4 had similar physical characteristics to Ray. One name, Eric Galt, was used by Ray over an entire 9-month period prior to the assassination. When King was killed, the name of the man police thought they were hunting was Eric Galt. A sharpshooter with relatives in Rhodesia, Galt could indeed have been a very plausible assassin. His similarities to Ray are remarkable. Ray has a scar on his forehead, so has Galt.
The scar on my forehead runs from one eye across to the other one. It's right over the bridge of the nose. The other scar that I think Ray has would be on the plastic surgery, which was on the tip of my nose.
1 month before the assassination, using Galt's name, Ray had plastic surgery on his nose. In addition, Ray and Galt both have scars on their right hands.
Coincidences that really fascinated me was the fact that when I was in Ottawa at an Ontario Council meeting, Ray had been there, was in 2 blocks of where I was. While I was in Montreal on another occasion, Ray was also in the area, was in a couple of blocks of where I had stayed. Identification that he would pick up on me would be absolutely remote. I don't think there's any way that he could have gotten my name without some assistance.
How did Ray get access to these identities? It's recently come to light that Eric Galt's details were in a top security file because of his work on a then secret defense contract for the Union Carbide Company in Toronto.
There are files in every company that we have defense contracts with. Very, very elaborate files, because they want to know who they're dealing with. I myself have had access to Canadian and Australian and British material that those countries considered secret, top secret and all, and in exchange we provided our material. So if you were going to fabricate a record for somebody or use somebody else's record as a cover, that could be done even though it involved 2 countries or 3 countries.
The aliases question is crucial because it was unexplained by official investigations and is obviously central to this case. James Earl Ray was able to use the names of people who looked like him, who were totally innocent, and in the case of Mr. Galt, who shared uncanny characteristics with Ray, when Ray had no capacity to have gone to Toronto and scouted these names out or gotten them from a file. And to me that means they were provided to Ray, which means a conspiracy.